Animal sounds feel universal. A cow is a cow everywhere, but the sound people hear and repeat is surprisingly cultural, and that makes it a brilliant starting point for pronunciation work. One learner says a rooster sounds one way, another learner says it completely differently. And suddenly, you have a fun conversation about real speech patterns instead of a stressful correction drill. That is the hook for this lesson. We can use animal sounds to teach English phonemes, mouth shape, airflow, and cultural awareness in a way that feels natural and memorable. Animal sounds lower the pressure right away. Students are not trying to sound perfect. They are imitating something playful, so they usually take more risks with their voice. They also give you a physical anchor. When students say moo, ba, or woof, they can feel lip rounding, jaw opening, or a crisp final stop instead of hearing an abstract sound symbol. That matters in mixed-level classes because even beginners can join in. The task feels simple, but you are quietly building phonetic awareness underneath it. There is also a cultural benefit. When learners share how animals sound in their own language, you validate what they already know before introducing the English version. Let's start with mammals. They give you some of the easiest sound bridges into English vowels and diphthongs. Take the cow sound, moo, moo. It is useful for the long vowel sound you hear in food or school. Ask students to round the lips and hold the sound slightly longer. Sheep or goat sounds like ba, ba can support the open front vowel you hear in cat or bag. This is a good moment to focus on a relaxed mouth and a wider jaw. Dog sounds are great for final consonant practice. With woof woof or bark, students can notice that English often closes the word cleanly at the end instead of leaving it open. Cat sounds can help with glide movement. If you stretch meow slowly, like meow, learners can hear the voice moving from one vowel position to another. Horse gives you neigh, which is a strong model for the sound in day or play. Students can feel the mouth begin more open and then move upward. Pig gives you oink oink, another useful diphthong. It supports the sound in boy or choice, especially when learners exaggerate the mouth change at first. The goal is not to teach perfect animal noises. The goal is to turn a familiar sound into a safe rehearsal space for English articulation. Now move to insects and friction sounds. These are especially useful when you want students to notice voicing, hissing, and airflow. A bee gives you buzz, which can be more sustained, like buzz. That helps with the voice sound at the end of words like is or plays, where the vocal cords keep vibrating. A snake gives you hiss or hiss. That is a simple way to contrast the unvoiced sound in words like see or bus, where air moves but the throat stays quiet. A cricket's chirp, like chirpity chirp chirp, can help with the affricate sounds heard in chip or teacher. It starts with a stop and releases into friction, which students often need to feel physically. A mosquito gives you a long, thin whine. Use that to practice steady airflow and sustained friction, especially with learners who cut sounds too short. When students compare buzz and hiss or chirp and whine, they're not just making noise. They're learning how English sound production feels inside the mouth and throat. Once students can play with the sound, move quickly into vocabulary. That is where the activity starts to connect with real communication. Buzz can lead into busy. You can talk about a busy street, a busy classroom, or a busy day, and students hear a familiar sound link. Hiss can lead into quiet classroom language. Growl can lead into angry. Chirp can lead into happy, cheerful, or lively. The sound becomes a doorway into meaning. This transfer is powerful because learners are not memorizing random word lists. They are building memory through sound, feeling, and image at the same time. That is what makes the technique stick. Start with noise, then move to words, then move to emotion and context. At this point, it helps to separate phonetics from phonics because teachers often use those words as if they mean the same thing. Phonetics is about how sounds are produced and heard. It looks at the actual sound system, the mouth position, the airflow, and the difference between one sound and another. Phonics is different. It connects sounds to letters and spelling patterns, which is important for reading instruction, but not exactly the same as pronunciation training. The word phonetics comes from a Greek root linked to sound and voice. That reminder is useful because this work begins with what learners hear and say, not just what they see on the page. Here's a simple classroom routine you can use almost anywhere. First, Ask students how that animal sounds in their own language. Next, introduce the English version and model it clearly. Keep it light and playful so students notice the sound without worrying about being wrong. Then compare the two. Look at the lips, the jaw, the tongue, the voicing, or the final consonant. That comparison turns a fun moment into real phonetic noticing.